let's kick off Heirloom's Reinventing the Photo Album. So please, Jennifer.
Okay, well, welcome everyone to Heirloom's webinar, Reinventing the Photo Album. So on behalf of our entire team, we're happy you decided to invest 50 minutes of your time to getting control of your photos and home movies. I'm Jennifer Jordan, one of Heirloom's customer success service agents. I'm one of the real people you speak to. If you ever call our 1-800 number, when you have questions about digitizing old media, want to know more about curating your memories on Heirloom's secure network, or perhaps have feature recommendations for our mobile applications launching later this year. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat and we'll get to them later in the presentation. I want to tell you a reason I'm so passionate about the work we do here at Heirloom is because I am a cautionary tale of what you don't want to happen with your precious memories. I took hundreds of photos of my children and was very careful to label the CDs I had developed at Costco and keep them organized in storage boxes. Then during a move, some of the boxes were lost. It was heartbreaking. Birthday parties, Christmas mornings, trips to Disneyland. I thought they were safe, but now I wish I had preserved them on the cloud. I don't want that to happen to you. So for some background on Heirloom Cloud Corporation, I'd like to introduce you to our original founder and CEO, Jeff Weber.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here today, taking some time to invest in your memories and preserving them. The Heirloom team wants to answer all your questions, not just about digitizing old media like this VHS cassette, and there's still millions of these out there that are decaying. We want to do more than just answer questions about that. We also want to demonstrate Heirloom's secure memory network. And so how we make it possible to connect and curate your photos and videos for life. As Jennifer had said in the chat right now, we're talking about favorite music from the times that we were growing up in high school. You can still keep those in the chat, but more importantly, put your questions in the chat and Jennifer will make sure that they get addressed. In a moment, John Rahagi, my co-founder and longtime friend and our Chief Technology Officer, is going to demonstrate Heirloom's secure memory network. He'll share his screen with an interactive demonstration. We want you to ask questions as he's doing that. You're going to see how to safely share photos and streaming video with an unlimited number of friends and family for life. So my founding story comes from struggles within 32 years of marriage, kids, and aging parents. My wife, Nancy, is lovely, but she struggled with evolving technology for decades. To capture our memories, we would develop photo film. We'd buy all kinds of videotapes, and I have them all here. So if you want to ask questions about, hey, what's the difference between a beta or a VHS or a VHS-C or an 8mm or 60mm reel, I've got them. I'd love to show them to you. We suffered through all of them. And there was just every type of media equipment. And so like I inherited this Brownie from my parents that was recording 8mm tapes. And then, you know, I thought I was really cool in the 90s with this VHS-C recording device from Panasonic. Probably cost $1,000 back then, which is crazy because now we can capture it with our iPhones. It's great. I finally decided to tediously digitize everything in our house one day. And so it was loose photos, it was photo slides. And for someone that likes the Arctic Monkeys on here of Gen Z, you're probably thinking, I've never actually seen one of these before by Kodak. So we inherited many of that from our parents, 8mm video reels, and even boxes of like college papers that we generated from an old school typewriter, became PDF documents with optical character recognition. And it felt really good to finally have all of this preserved in a redundant cloud solution. We're going to show that to you shortly. We understand that digital technology, it really changed our lives, but it also did something to the volume, variety, and the velocity of our memories. They dramatically increased. Now we had photos, videos, and precious voicemails coming from like multiple devices. My wife tried backing up on iCloud. I was trying to use Microsoft OneDrive, and we had such difficulty sharing back and forth with our kids who are now starting to capture and curate their own memories. So John and I developed a secure network that would keep all of your memories safe in one place. We're building it in a way that even my 81-year-old father can enjoy them. And so, John, I think I gave you hosting privileges. Please take it away and show us the Heirloom solution.
Happy to, Jeff. Thank you. And hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy to go through our platform. We're excited about this first version. I just wanted to first point out that if you do go to heirloom.cloud, you can sign up for a free account, which has free storage, which is exactly what we're going to talk about now. And hopefully everybody can see my screen. And this is the platform. So Jeff was saying that his 81-year-old father has a lot of challenges around this and has all these memories. I have the same problem, the same challenge. The very day that Jeff and I were talking about what a comprehensive cloud solution could look like, so we could preserve memories in the cloud, but not just preserve them, but be able to interact with them in new and different ways. That same day, my mom called and said, how do I move all my old memories to the cloud? How do I move all your baby pictures and everything you have in an album? And so I think that's a very relatable story where we've either gotten that call or trying to figure it out ourselves. How do we preserve these, make sure that our future generations can enjoy them? And so everything that you see here was in a box or photo album, or as we'll see, was on a VHS tape that Jeff showed. It was all on different media. There's a lot of cases, there's only one copy of what exists here. And now everything is seamlessly in this cloud platform, in the Heirloom cloud platform, accessible from any device so that you can enjoy it anytime. And for example, this image here, this is a class photo, and this is something that Jeff had to digitize. He's showing that now.
Rescued this from a decaying box that was in my mother-in-law's house, and my wife's in this picture from the 70s. Love it.
Right, exactly. And now with it being in the cloud and in the Heirloom platform, now if you want to do whatever in terms of copying or moving it or sharing it, accessible, and it is safe, not going to go anywhere. And so I'm going to dive into how we can, how Heirloom, how the platform is able to help with these challenges around organizing and curating your memories and then creating that secure network in order to share and enjoy memories among family and friends, as well as start to capture the stories that are in all of these memories. Just a single photo has a ton of different stories in it, as we know. And that's something we always see whenever we digitize something for a customer, the stories just come out, and we want to be able to help capture those. And so I'll give a quick overview and then we'll dive in. On the left-hand side, we have our filtering around the memories in terms of what's private, which is very important, and then what memories are being shared, and then memories are received. On the home page here, we have functionality for organizing and curating, able to sort through different types, and then the ability to create a new album, just like this right here, or to even upload memories and start to consolidate a lot of the digital clutter that we have with existing digital photos that are scattered through multiple places, multiple external hard drives, or different situations that people have. So we also have the ability to look at it in a list view or a grid view. I prefer the grid view. It just depends on how you kind of like to work and have fun with your memories. And that's why we wanted to make a versatile platform. Like I said, the first thing that people want to do is they just want to look at their memories. When they finally get something digitized that they've been thinking about for a long time, they maybe have never seen these or haven't seen them in decades. And so with this view, what we call the detail view, it really puts everything at your fingertips. We're able to go through and easily see everything, have a thumbnail view at the bottom, have all the functionality at the top if you want to download, take it for a different project, copy, or maybe move, create a new folder and start to organize and put images or videos into a folder as you're going, and then to share, which we'll talk about in just a second. But from here, we have a description box as well. So this is where you can start to capture those stories of what is happening in these photos. And then when you share, as we'll see, there's different permissions and other people will be able to contribute to those stories as well. Also can do basic stuff like rename the file in this view. And then able to see what users have access, because sometimes you want to share something with everybody. Sometimes you want to share with just one person, with that one photo, that one video, wherever the case may be. So we wanted to make sure that this was all very accessible from this type of view. And as we talked about, this is when we say reinventing the photo album, it's not just about photos, but it's also about documents, videos, audio, So clicking through here, for example, we have Nate's letter to Santa. So this is something that Jeff digitized. This is one of his kids' letter to Santa. This is something that's valuable and has a lot of sentimental value that we're able to digitize and consolidate into one place.
Hey, John, can I say something about documents like that?
Please do.
We have seen so many of them come into our digitizing facility here in Charleston, South Carolina, and I am I just don't know where to begin. The love letters that are hundreds of years old, recipe cards that were passed down for generations, and so these aren't photos and they're not videos, but they're very precious documents. And it's wonderful to preserve them. And as I had mentioned before, using optical character recognition PDFs, and also the technology that we're able to actually turn handwriting into searchable text, is going to allow you to search through these documents for many years. And so I had heard from many moms that were saying, yeah, I got all this refrigerator art and I feel really bad because I'm putting it in a box under my bed, or I'm purging it every once in a while because I just don't have the space. It's just so cluttery. And now we're seeing more and more boxes come through here that we put on our large format scanner, and they're preserved for forever. Their archive media is also returned to them in waterproof containers that they can put into a basement or an attic. And if that house for some reason with fire or a flood or were destroyed, they're never going to lose the album. But I love these, and these are every bit as much a part of our memories as photos and videos. So thanks for letting me jump in, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important because I think a lot of times people don't even think about some of these things that they consider to be valuable memories, but don't consider
Friday, July.
So actually, I just hit play early. I just wanted to comment. This is a recording of an answering phone, or answering machine. Remember those from also one of Jeff's kids. Yeah, he's showing
this little micro cassette.
And this is another thing that we found that is extremely valuable for people to observe when they realize what's actually on there. And from here, from our platform, this was important to us. We didn't want to create a situation where things are digitized and then you have to take all those files and move them somewhere else just to be able to look at them. We wanted to make sure that no matter what it was, you could do it from one place. And we can stream right from here, audio just like this.
3 seconds. Hi, Dad, it's Nate. When Mom took me fishing today, there were some boys that were fishing, and they caught some huge fish. I'm not going to tell you what type of fish, because I want to tell you at home. I just wanted to see if you're there.
So Jeff, I'm sure you remember this very well when you got this message back in the day.
Yeah. I sometimes people ask me, hey, Jeff, I heard you have a technology startup. What do you do? And I sometimes have to say that we make people cry. And I did this with my dad several years ago. John, if you could find that video, the one that my family, not my wedding video, but we had sent to my dad just before I was born. My older brother's in here. We sent this to my dad in Vietnam. The television station had the family come in and put this together. And I just was able to preserve this. And when I sent it back to my dad and said, hey, can you see this? I mean, we couldn't talk about it. It was just so like, oh my gosh, this is 50 some years ago. And, you know, as I look at not just aunts and uncles and my mom and grandparents and great grandparents who are no longer with us. And in many times, this is the only video, the only time I can actually hear my great grandmother's voice who came from Germany. And we just love this. And so to us, it's a real priceless treasure.
So what's great, that like Jeff said, this is a priceless treasure that you can stream right from here. And you can do that for any video. And then here we have a photo of the person that this video was sent to. So the value of being able to combine these different types of media is just priceless, because these are all memories. They all have tons of details and texture to them, and they all tell their own story that has always been, I know for my family, something that my mom wanted to solve is how to put this all together so that it's all in one place, and then you can really tell a cohesive story about what was happening and what these memories are like. And so that's why it's so valuable to be able to stream, because we all know that people have thousands of hours of video that's just trapped on these VHS cassettes.
Hey, John, Bill asked a really good question about search your memories, our search bar. And could you demonstrate how that works? Mark also asked about searching for words in a picture. Not yet. I think Melissa was asking about deciphering extremely bad cursive handwriting. We do have the technology and we have tested it. It's not yet deployed to this system, but that is coming. And it will, but I want to demonstrate what some of the search features that are now working. So John, I think there was that one. Okay, there it is.
So yeah, we were just talking about the other day, some of the descriptions that we were adding and how fun they were. And so this is an example in the search bar. It's typed in socks. That's got it's the name. So it will be able to find that if you do a search. In the description here, we have Jeff and Brothers circa 1970. And so if I go back, let's say just go back to my private memories and then just go 1970, that'll show up as well. So it's going to be able to find anything in the description or in the name. And as Jeff said, we're working on adding that optical character recognition so that we could really enhance the search features and capture more memories through that.
Yeah, thanks, John. And the search feature is critical. I know in my family, I've got 48,000 photos, and I've tagged them all, and it's now really easy to find them. We want to make it easier, and so we've got a long technology roadmap of features which will continue rolling out on Heirloom. But we want to hear back from you as well, and I think there's some really great questions here in the chat. Continue to put them. There are some features that we haven't considered yet. What do you want to do with your memories next? Now that they're safe, we've digitized them, they're preserved, they're on this platform. And by the way, if I didn't stress this, this is actually a cloud platform, which is on redundant data centers. And so when you ship your media to Heirloom and we digitize it here, we upload it to Heirloom Cloud, and it immediately goes to a data availability zone in Northern Virginia. And then it then replicates to data centers in Washington State. And then it will replicate to a server in Sydney, Australia, and around the world. There are no servers in countries like North Korea, Russia, China, and so your memories are very safe around the world. But I mentioned this, that redundancy, and so even if the horror of the world should happen and a nuclear weapon should be on Washington, D.C. or Northern Virginia, and all of this data center goes up, it's replicated in multiple places, so you never lose your memories. Another way of thinking of it is you're 411 times more likely to get struck by a meteor than ever lose a single file on replicated cloud. And so, and this is a technology we've all been using with platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So what I want to show next is we've gone through the ability to view and to do some organizing and curating, adding descriptions. One of the key features that we know is important, and I know it's important to my family, is being able to share. And so we have that ability by selecting either a file or a folder or a file. So I'll demonstrate, because we want to show how we have organized this to make sure that memories, first of all, private by default, and that you have full control over who they're shared with. But then we also want to make sure that it's easy to see, because you forget sometimes what files you did share and with who. So something we were doing earlier with the Heirloom team, we were sharing baby pictures. So here's a photo of me, for example, back when I was really into sweets. And I'm just going to add my email address, first name, last name, and then we have permissions. So these permissions give a certain level of control for each file, depending on what you'd like to grant. So viewer just is able to view, contributor if you want someone to be able to add to the description, for example, or editor if you want them to have full control and even be able to delete if necessary, if they're going through and curating all the files that are there. And then click invite. Then give it a second to refresh. Okay, now as you see, it's no longer in this view. We go to memories I'm sharing, and it's here, and combine with a couple other memories that have already been shared. And so that way, I can always just click on the filter memories I'm sharing to see what I have shared. And if I go into the file itself, I can see who has access. So this is the account that I'm using right now. This is who it's shared with. And so this is a way to make sure and to see who all has access and who you're sharing a file with. And then if I had, again, different permissions, then other people would be able to add to the description as well, and to really start to bring some of those stories out. Same idea rather, for memories received, because if someone has an Heirloom account and they share with you, then you will see these files in memories received. So here's some additional baby pictures. If we go into here, we see that Bryce shared this photo. He is the owner, and then this account, the demo account, is listed as the viewer, and that is the permission. And so we can easily see who is shared with who, which files. And again, whether it is a folder with lots of files in it or one single image or movie, you can do that. And then we have a My Network feature. Is another way to really get a sense of who is in your network, who you have shared with, and what their level of access is. So if I go to my own name here, and I can see which files that I've shared or have been shared with me. And so these are the 3 files that I have shared. So I know that. So this gives a level of that granular control and this is something that we've gotten from feedback from our users. They really want to know and be able to see very easily who they're shared with and understand, get a visual of that without having to go in and figure out, did I share this with someone or not? And so that's why we wanted to make sure that it was default private, and that this was very easy for everyone to see when they curated, organized, and shared their photos. So that is the overall functionality of Heirloom. Like I said, we're excited to continue to add features and to make it even easier to organize and continue to curate all of your memories from whatever media type, so that you don't have to go or take them to a different platform to do the organization or curation. Because I know that was one of the big things we were trying to solve for, again, after digitizing. Like, my mom just didn't want to have to deal with file management, just wanted to have it in one place. And so that's why we're excited to have this version and to continue to develop it and to get feedback from our users about how we can connect them to their memories and to the stories that are there.
John, there's some great questions in the chat. Jennifer's probably kind of coordinating them, but I see one in particular from Gladys. And she asks if we can improve her VHS tapes and old Super 8 movies. Here's an example of a small Super 8 video reel. When we digitize them, what is the process we use? Is it scanning or cleaning? I want to be really clear that we at Heirloom have a vision of no memory left behind, and so we capture what we can at the highest quality, but that doesn't mean that we can reconstruct damaged media. And so there have been some 8mm reels coming in from the 30s and 40s that we couldn't even unwind them from the reel. This one's actually in very good condition from the 60s. As you can see, processed by Kodak, and it's very durable. It's not breaking, and so we can recover it. Obviously, we blow compressed air over it to make sure that there's no dust when we're collecting your media. We're wearing gloves when handling your media, so we're not making it. We're not adding any fingerprints, particularly to things like negatives and photo slides and films such as 8mm. But we can't fix it. We can only capture it in the best possible means. Now, in doing so, because we really believe in no memory left behind, when we receive a VHS tape, and I think this was an example of one of them where took the tape out of it, and so this is just a dummy tape. It's about 1 out of 30 tapes that come in here. The Mylar tape is broken off the reel. We'll do a very quick surgery, if you will, on your cassette, and we'll reattach that because we don't want to send it back to you. There's memories on there, and it only takes us a couple of minutes to do that small correction. Another thing we do is we're starting to see more and more of these discs. And so there, for years, it was copy your VHS. Actually, let me go back. It was copy your 8mm reels to VHS. And then it was copy your VHS to DVD. And now we're seeing that a number of these DVDs are coming through with scratches or cracks, completely cracked. We can't do anything about that. However, we do put every CD or DVD onto our buffer because we had found that it was approximately 10% of every disc coming through was unreadable. And so people were sending us their unreadable discs. We have a 92% recovery rate. And so if you do have an unreadable DVD, perhaps you digitized your memories and had it put onto a DVD, and now you can no longer read it from your DVD player, and there is no DVD players on an iPad, send them to Heirloom. We'll put them on the buffer. We've got a 92% recovery rate, and you may see your streaming video show up here. So we can't actually improve the quality, but we can capture it at the highest, at our highest capability. And then of course, we're going to return it to you at 720p high density. And so hopefully that answers your question, Gladys.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. We have another question from Bob. And Bob says, I have an older Nikon CoolScan slide scanner and a newer Epson V850 flatbed scanner. Which should I use to scan my mom's collection of slides?
Wow, it's a really good question, Bob. I'm not familiar with those particular models. I know that they're great brands. So I imagine they're good pieces of equipment. I would say use whatever works. Keep in mind that many flatbed scanners cannot process slides and negatives. And so they're doing a positive scan. And so you're just gonna have to test it and see. But I would say that if it's called a CoolScan slide scanner, sounds like it's probably meant for scanning slides, and I would do that. And then of course, if you're looking for a place to keep them safe, we hope that you would choose Heirloom, but definitely scan those slides. Make sure that you blow them clean from dust, wear gloves to make sure that you're not adding fingerprints. And again, you test it out. And I would just simply say, if you've got the equipment, use what works.
Okay, thank you for that advice, Jeff. And we have a question from Mark, who likes the Doors and the Stones. If I export a photo, does the metadata go with it?
Good question. So we do have the capability to retain your metadata on Heirloom. Now you're talking about exporting a photo off of Heirloom. John, I think as we've been changing versions, the download right now does not bring the metadata with it as it had done previously in our test. It'll preserve that metadata, but currently the download will not bring the metadata with it. It is our intent, because we believe in no memory left behind. We don't want your metadata stuck on our platform. And so we'll be rolling out that capability that when you download anything to include not just photos that you uploaded with your metadata, but any curation you do in our platform by adding a description. Once we roll out facial recognition, if you should opt in for that, you can start naming the people's faces that are in your photos. All of that data will be exportable. And so that's a really good question, Mark. We wouldn't build a platform. We, like you, love that metadata. And for those unfamiliar with it, it's data about data, or what we call a meta story. It's a story about your story. And what people really want to know is who's in the photo, when was it taken, and where was this located? And so at a minimum, you'll see those features rolling out on Heirloom in the next several months.
Excellent, thank you. And Jeff, you brought up a very good point. And one of the features that I love about, excuse me, about Heirloom is the description, the ability to add a description to the photos, because as most of us know, the photo is just a small part. It's just a brief little moment of time, and the story of what is behind that photo is so important. And the fun things, the crazy things. It may look like a perfect picnic, but then it rained. And so you could put in the description, this was a great picnic, and then it rained, and to share it and look at everybody in that photo and share that and say, hey guys, remember this picnic when it rained and we had to, run, and we spent the rest of the day inside the car at the lake trying to have a picnic. So it's not just, I like to think of Heirloom as, this is not just the digital version of the dusty box of negatives in the closet. This is a living, breathing thing. It's an organism that we can say, hey, join, look at my photos. This, I want to talk about this. I want to tell you the story of this, not just, here's someone standing in front of a sign. What happened at Mount Washington State Park in this photo? We want to know that. We want to be able to share that. So the information, as you say, it's the story is what we're sharing here. So we have some more questions. Bill says, what about linking the Heirloom cloud information about a person to that person's space in an online family tree? Great suggestion. What do you think about that?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
So John and I have been working on this, and we're really excited to roll out some new features in the months ahead. We've had a lot of people asking us that very thing. Just keep in mind, from Heirloom, it's really easy to download any of your memories, and you can put that memory onto ancestry.com, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. We just want to be a single stop where you can keep all of your memories and then obviously make copies available somewhere else. In terms of a link, an active dynamic link, I think that's what you're talking about. We don't yet have that. We've had some interested parties from some other technology companies who are very interested in our technology. And so maybe there'll be a rollout of that in the future. And I would say, and hopefully this might answer some other questions that people in the webinar have. At the end of the day, we're going to build a platform that our customers demand. And so if you want the capability to relate all of your photos to each other in a family tree, we'll build that. The most important feature that we've heard from our clients is that they want to know that it's secure and private. And so as a great example, if you should ship old media to Heirloom to be digitized, obviously we have to see what's on there in order to digitize it. We have to queue up your reel and clip it, curate it, upload it. The moment we do that, we no longer hang on to your memories, and we don't have access to your cloud account. Essentially, they get sent to your cloud account in the blind, if you will. And so we'll just take a folder of 1,000 photos and upload it to your account. You now have access to it. You can continue to add to that. You can organize it, you can delete it. We don't have access, and we believe that the other platforms that do have a backdoor to your memories is irresponsible. And so the reason that Heirloom charges a fee for the safe storage and preservation of your memories is because data centers they cost money. And so, and we're not selling advertising, and we're not selling your data to companies like Google that are seeking to then sell you a product or a service that you'd be interested in. And so everything in Heirloom is a secure and private network, as much as you keep it as such. You can share it with one person and only one person, or 100 people if you'd like to. And so I just keep coming back to what do the customers want? And you're welcome to put more in the chat, like, I want a feature that does X. And that's what we want to build. And maybe one of us would say, I was thinking about that. And as more and more customers tell us what they want, our technology experts will code it.
Okay, thank you. Gladys says, I see that the price to use your cloud is a yearly fee. What happens if I stop paying? Where do my memories go?
Good question. So I would first start with, you can always download your memories from Heirloom. And I think John was looking at our data recently and no one has done that. No one has downloaded all of their memories. Maybe because they're still on their 1 year introductory. You do not have to pay for your, if you digitize with Heirloom, you don't have to pay for your first year of cloud storage. The smallest paid plan we have is 50 gigabytes. It's $19.99 a year. But people do not download. If you wanted to, you could. And so we would say, if you are going to leave our platform because you find something better, download all your memories, delete your account, and you'll know that the memories are gone forever. I don't know, John, have you showed an example of how to delete a memory and then how to permanently delete a memory? If you could.
No, not yet. I can show that. So let's say you wanted to delete a memory, you select it, you click delete, ask if you're sure, click delete file, and then that disappears. You go to the trash. Now these are a bunch of files that have been deleted, but they have not been permanently deleted. So they're in the trash, and then you can delete them permanently, or if you choose, you can restore them if you decided that you didn't want to. So you have that flexibility and that control in case something gets accidentally put into the trash.
We do not delete anyone's memories. And so if you don't pay for your cloud storage, we're going to continue reaching out to you saying, do you still want this service? We're not going to delete your account. You will lose access to your memories if you don't pay for it. But we're not in the business of deleting memories. Our vision is no memory left behind. And so you'll never lose them on Heirloom.
All right, excellent. So Carmen asks, is there a memory limit for the accounts?
The limit right now is 5,000 gigabytes or 5 terabytes. So we have everyone who signs up gets a 1 gigabyte plan for life, and you never have to pay. To that account, you can own up to 1 gigabyte of memories. You can receive to that account an unlimited amount of memories. And so this works well for my mom, who's in a nursing home. And so we can continue to send memories to her account and she's streaming them. She doesn't have to pay because she's not adding new memories of herself. And so that is free. If you send old media to Heirloom to be digitized, as I said, your first year is free, regardless of how much you had. If you sent us so many memories, and we've seen some orders in the thousands of dollars, people hanging on to memories for 100 years. If we need to put you on a 1 terabyte plan or a 5 terabyte plan, we will, and you won't pay anything for that for the first year. After a year, you'll have to pay to renew. And I guess to answer the question, at this point in time, 5 terabytes, and boy, I can't even comprehend. So let me just say 50 gigabytes is, well, so our largest plan would hold, John, am I doing this right? 5,000 hours of streaming video. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'd love to do the math on that. That's probably several months. 5,000 hours.
Our average order is, I think, for most people, it's like 20 gigs,
yeah.
Right? So for most people in their memories, their at least their initial holdings, it's around 20 gigs. So plenty of space is the point to be able to store and to enjoy your memories, and then to continue adding as we're all creating new memories, and that's exactly what we want to make sure we provide for, is the ability to do that.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, I want to make sure that I'm not misunderstood. I see that Peter asked, do people I share with also pay? Very good question. No, they don't. And so what happens when you first share a memory to a new email address, and Heirloom has never seen that email address, that recipient will receive an email saying, hey, whoever, John, Eric shared a memory with you. Click here to see that memory on your free Heirloom account. Your free Heirloom account comes with 1 gigabyte of storage for yourself. They can continue receiving memories and they don't have to pay. And so essentially Heirloom is a free network, but the owners of memories pay to store them if they have more than 1 gigabyte. And our plans are very affordable. They're anywhere from I mentioned $19.99 a year, $49.99 a year for 250 gigabytes. And we don't see a lot of that. A full terabyte, 1,000 gigabytes for $99.99 a year. And then you could take that 5 times if you needed to and a total 5 terabyte plan for $199 a month. I mean, this is comparable to the iCloud or Google Drive or Microsoft.
All right. So Mark, again, would like our Doors fan, and thank you, Mark, for sharing who your favorite band was. I appreciate you joining our little startup, getting to know each other. Wants to know, can you convert commercial VHS tapes to digital?
We do not accept copyrighted material. And so in our terms and conditions, you're saying that you have rights to what you sent us. If you acknowledge that you own the material and it's not copyrighted, then we'll certainly digitize it. But no, we're at this point in time not digitizing your commercial memories, and they're not your memories. We're not digitizing commercial materials.
Okay, thank you. And so Maria, I believe this is some advice for Bob. She says, I have good success with scanning 35 millimeter slides with the Epson Perfection V600 photo, or maybe that's for everyone. And then also Gladys says, use the V850 with the negative holder that comes with it. That cool slide scanner, try it, but make sure the DPI of the scans is a minimum of 2,400. So thank you for sharing that.
Concur. We have that same scanner here at Heirloom. It's a wonderful device.
All right. And then Kenny, our Cream fan, says, I'm doing photo organizing as a paid service in my community. Is there a discount or commission available for business I send your way?
We have not yet begun an affiliate program. We've had these questions before. Kenny, I'm going to make a point to have someone from our marketing team reach back out to you as we're looking to provide a greater service. At the end of the day, we just want people to save their memories, and if it's through an affiliate program, that is something we're considering. Not sure if hopefully I answered that question. I'm seeing some other questions in the chat. Jennifer, Gladys was asking, hey, what happens to the memories when I die? And that's a really good question. And that's part of why we've called this company Heirloom. And so we're looking to roll out an inheritance program, if you will, on Heirloom, where you can set up next of kin, and that you could say when I'm no longer alive, that it goes to this person, and this person has full ownership of my heirloom, and then primary, secondary, next of kin, because we've seen too many memories that are stuck on these other platforms. And what we're building in Heirloom is something for the entire life cycle of your memories. And we're all dying. And so, there needs to be a place where do we retain these for our ancestors. And so we hope that Heirloom has all those capabilities for you in the next several months as we continue adding to this very exciting platform.
All right, let's see. We have a question from Pfeiffer. Is it possible to move images around in an album to change the order in which they appear? Maybe John can answer that.
So right now, if you want, we don't have the ability to change the order just yet. That is something that's on our roadmap, so that we can. One of our features that we're working on is a slideshow, so that you would be able to do that. At this point, the ability is there to drag images or files into a folder, but rearranging the order is something yet to come this year that we're excited to implement.
Okay. All right. And then Bob thanked Gladys for the information about the cool scan. And Melissa is wondering, if I've used Apple Photos app to save titles, descriptions, tags, keywords, and facial recognition, does this platform retain all that data when I upload?
So at this point, we don't have all of that data. That is something that, again, we are working on, because metadata is something that we want to preserve. So that is, it is a priority for us to be able to do that, to aid in the consolidation. And we don't have that solved just yet, but we are working on being able to do that.
All right.
We
Thank you.
have, if I can interrupt here, Jennifer, we have
Please,
been
yes.
given authority from Meta to a backdoor, an API to their platform. And so one of the buttons we'll be rolling out shortly in this import button is the ability for you to say, I'm authenticating my username and password on Facebook, and it will go out to every photo and video that you have ever uploaded to your Facebook account. Take a copy of that and put it into one clean folder on Heirloom called Copied from Facebook. We will have that available on the other platforms as well, to include Google Photos, iCloud. What we can't control is, can iCloud give us access to your metadata? I will tell you on Facebook, and so our chief technology officer, John, used to work at Facebook. They don't retain your metadata for security purposes. When you upload a photo to Facebook, all that EXIF data has been taken off. If we can get access to the metadata, we will preserve it. And so you're going to see rolling out in the months ahead some really cool buttons here with importing, making it very simple, but we can only do what we've been authorized to do.
Right. And
All
yeah,
right.
so for metadata, for Apple, for Facebook, for Dropbox, for any platform, we will always strive to get the metadata. It's whether how much we'll be able to get, and whether any is allowed when the files are downloaded. So we have some dependencies on that, but again, our goal is to make sure we have as much metadata as possible that is at the user's fingertips, that is at your fingertips, that you are able to control, download, take it with you, do whatever it is that you want with it, because it's your memories.
Great. Thank you, John.
We are getting to the end of what we promised to be a 50-minute webinar, Jennifer, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but I also want to continue answering questions. And so one thing that we promised was that at the end of the webinar, we would give a discount code if you're interested in an Heirloom Connect kit, which is really the best way to get started. And so I'm putting the Connect kit discount in the chat right now. You can see it's Jan 25 webinar. If you go to our website, type in that when you buy a kit. And so instead of paying the retail price of $29.99, you'll get it for $14.99. A great way to start. We'd love to answer any more questions if you want to stick around. The other thing is this is becoming very popular. We understand that there are many questions, commentary, some features, product features that people, you all on this webinar here, and customers calling us on the phone want to build. And so we'll be doing this every month. And I'm putting a link to next month's webinar in the chat. For instance, if there is someone that you know that really needs this service, you could send them this link and they could sign up for the next webinar on February 22nd, same time, middle of the week on a Wednesday. But I did want to, for the people who said, hey, you said it was going to be 50 minutes. I'm looking at 12:50, and I think we answered the majority of the questions, but for those that need to leave, we completely understand that you've got a life and work and kids and family. And so please get back to it. You can call us at any time. The 800 numbers in the chat. You might hear Manny on the phone, or Jennifer, or anyone on the Heirloom team would love to talk to you about digitizing your memories, how to keep them safe on the platform. And for those that aren't leaving, John, Jennifer, are you guys good with answering more questions?
We have more. We have a great question from Dominic, who wants to know if there's an iPhone or Android app in the works, and could you upload photos from your cell phone or other device? Excellent question.
Yes, excellent question. So the mobile experience is something that we are working on now, and it is one of our top priorities to roll that out. So we don't have it yet. And so at this point, if you wanted to upload photos that are on your device, you would need to get the photos off of your device, plug it into your laptop, and then you could upload through the Heirloom desktop application. But we are going to roll out, the plan is this year to roll out a mobile experience where you would be able to access your Heirloom account and upload any photos that you have stored on it, as well as when you take new photos with your phone, that would go directly to your Heirloom account into My Private Memories, so that you can start having all of your memories consolidated into one place and not need to start keep moving things around.
Okay, great. And so Melissa asks, and you may have answered this, but we could just briefly touch on this. Do you have organizational folders and the ability to sort by name, date, and custom?
So we have the ability to create a new album. Just needs to refresh there. So yep, we can create a new album. We also have we can sort by name, type, date, and description for the files and folders. So depending on what you want to do and how you want to organize your files, you can do that here in this view or in the list view.
Okay. And Carmen would like to know, if you have to download your memories from Heirloom, do they keep the organizational structure you created in the platform?
Yes. So Jeff, this looks like you wanted to jump
Yeah, it's
ahead.
that's a great question, because if anyone who's ever tried downloading your photos from Google Photos, it's multiple zip folders and it's tedious to then recreate that somewhere else. And so that is a great question. When you download from Heirloom, you get a zip folder, but if you did have hierarchical folders, we'll maintain that structure in the download.
Okay, well, I'm going through, you answered some of these questions. Now we're to Maria, who says, above and beyond all the good work Heirloom Cloud can do for us all, our consulting firm recommends to clients that they indeed do succession planning. There are many things to deal with. Yes, that is very true. Thank you, Maria. Helen, can you repeat the name of the scanner being talked about before the mention of the V850? Okay, Helen, I will repeat that. I'll go up and find that again, but just, and for you and anybody else who would like to know, you can save this chat. If you go down to where you would type a question in the chat and you see those three little dots, there's a little picture of a paper and then a smiley face and then three little dots. If you click on those three dots, one of them says save chat, and you can save this whole entire chat and you can go back and read. You can read what was in there, but let me get one more question for the men to answer, and then I can go back and look. So our next question is, I'll actually send you a message in chat, tell you. Oh, Evelyn wants to know, can this platform ever crash?
Good question. And I think this relates to why we do not yet have an iOS and an Android application. We are building Heirloom with security, privacy, and stability above all else. And so there's a lot of flashy photo sharing apps on other platforms, and I've tested some of them, actually quite a few of them, and they can crash. And so we're not going to build something that will have issues. At this point in time, Heirloom only renders in a browser, and the browser should be in a large enough screen, like a desktop, laptop, or even a tablet is large enough to render. But it won't crash. You're more likely to maybe misplace your password or have to reset your password. As I had mentioned, because we're on redundant servers or data centers that are replicated around the world, you're not going to lose your memories. You may lose access to them, to include, and this happens often, cyber attacks that take down an internet service provider or some node around the country. And so you might temporarily lose access if there's a major cyber outage, particularly in the United States. But it's not going to crash and they're not going to go away because they've been replicated to multiple data centers.
Built on the same infrastructure that powers a lot of the websites you already use. So it's the risk of it crashing and then losing your data is, like Jeff said, you more likely get hit by a meteor.
I will say they're a company like Netflix uses the same infrastructure that we use. And there's a company that does some digitizing, and they say that they're on the cloud. They call themselves the Netflix of your home memories, and yet all of your data is stored in one server at their digitizing facility here in the United States. And if that facility were to burn down, well, so your memories would go with it. And so you do have to ask a question, and you do need to demand, are my memories replicated with redundancy on the commercial cloud? That is what Heirloom is, and that's why our memories stream. This other company, if you go and you say, hey, I just sent them a 4-hour VHS cassette and I want to watch just 20 seconds of it, you've got to download the entire 4-hour VHS, which could be 4 gigabytes. That could take, I don't know, half an hour, or even if you have broadband. And so that's not a delightful process. That's not on the cloud. The power of cloud compute allows us to stream your memories, and so it's very incredibly resilient. And so I didn't give my whole bona fides when I did my introduction, but I've spent several decades in the intelligence community where we were storing some of America's finest, highest levels of classified information using the same system that Heirloom uses on commercial cloud.
Jeff,
So,
I'm sorry. Can you repost the discount code, because you may have only sent it to hosts and panelists, someone's saying, so people are not getting that. So could you resend that and make sure it goes out to everyone?
Yeah, sorry, Jennifer. Sorry, everybody. I'm not very good at multitasking, as you can see. I think Manny might have added that to the chat recently, but I will make sure that everyone gets that discount code, and then the link. I'll just make a nice short one. I'll add it right now so you know.
Oh,
exactly.
yes, I see that. Manny,
oh, there it is. All right,
that.
thanks, Manny. So you get 50% off your kit. There's the link to go to check out for a kit, and then the code is Jan25 webinar. If you put that in the discount code, you'll get it at half off, just until this Sunday at midnight. So it's just a special for the people that are on this webinar today. Thank you for being here.
Okay, so, and then Gladys says, why are you using UPS as the digitizing carrier? They don't have a great track record. Why not FedEx?
Some people use FedEx, some people use UPS. We do not use the U.S. Postal Service. And so we have a wonderful relationship with UPS. Not to say that FedEx doesn't also deliver well. As a matter of fact, their security protocols are identical. And I know this because, and actually John has some experience with this himself when he was working in the federal government. We used to ship classified materials on behalf of the United States government through FedEx and through UPS. And those materials will always arrive for several reasons. One is we're tracking them in real time. And it's the same thing that we do at Heirloom when our contracted carrier UPS picks up from your door and delivers to our facility. And so we've never had any issues with UPS. I'm saying you might have the same level of success with FedEx because they employ the same security protocols. But we've gone a step further with that when we developed our Connect kit. And so that kit has more than just a prepaid label already affixed to the outside of the container saying from your address to Heirloom. There's also a secondary label that's already been secured on the inside. In the case of bad weather, label getting peeled off, both FedEx and the United Parcel Service, when they receive a parcel like that, with two-person integrity. They open the package together and they look for some contents to reveal about who the owner is. And it's very clear on your Heirloom Connect Kit. It says, this is owned by Gladys. Here's my address. Here's my telephone number. You don't have to put it on there. We already do that for you. It's going to be processed at Heirloom Cloud Corporation at this address. Here's an 800 number. We also have a QR code on the outside of the kit that rings to our security if for some reason that package should be found unattended, which is not the case as it makes its way through UPS or FedEx. I would say good question. They're both very good services, but it really depends on how well you're using it. And just to be clear, when you order a Connect Kit from Heirloom, and you can do that for $14.99 before midnight this Sunday, that package is left at your front door by UPS. Why? Because it's essentially a cardboard box, packing materials, waterproof bags, prepaid label that we can reproduce. If for some reason you say, hey, I paid $14.99, my Connect Kit never showed up, we'll ship you another one. However, when you have that Connect Kit and you've filled it with your memories and you want to deliver to Heirloom through UPS, you are not allowed to leave that package on your doorstep unattended. We can't insure it. We cannot verify that it was safe the entire time. And so we require that you either call our 800 number, click for a pickup, and schedule a pickup from UPS directly to your door. They'll pick it up, they'll give you a scan, they'll scan it immediately, and then you'll immediately receive an email saying that they've received it, and then it will make its way directly to us. We understand that sometimes that's inconvenient, and so you can also drop off that full kit at any of the 5,000 UPS stores around the country. UPS has many more UPS stores than there are FedExes. And so for that reason, even though FedEx and UPS have the same level of security, and I love the logistics at FedEx, there are many more UPS stores. There's probably one just a couple miles from your house. And I hope that answers your question.
That's a great answer. Thank you. And I believe I caused a little bit of problems with my 3 dots. It's not working for anyone. I'm so sorry to have suggested this, which is not working, but Gladys very helpfully says that Heirloom needs to enable the chat dots. I thought that was just something that everybody could do, because it seems like a lot of people would like to save the information from this chat. So I'm not sure if it's something that we can do to help everybody, but I apologize. That was
I think we're trying to figure it out right now. I don't know if John,
okay.
being the host,
Okay.
can do that. I don't have those privileges right now. But,
All right. Well, let's
maybe
see.
John
We
can
have.
do it.
Thank you. Sorry, John. Let's see. Got that.
I take hosting back, but we'll look right now.
I am seeing. Okay, you mentioned that videos are returned in 720p. What if the original file is 1080p? Is it stored at 720? Bill would like to know.
Bill, good question. We return VHS and everything at a lower quality to include 8mm reels at 720. If you send us something of high quality that perhaps came from this JVC DV tape, or it was on a DVD that you made on your recorder, that will come back to you at full HD. So good question. We just see so much lower quality video from the tapes and reels that I just immediately go to 720 when I'm describing it, but there are multiple qualities. And that brings up another question. Some people ask, oh, so what do you scan photos at? 300 DPI or 600 DPI? And our answer to you is, what do you want? Our default is 600 DPI. We believe that's the highest quality for what used to be a loose photo. But if you want to save a few bucks and you're only looking at these digitally, you can get them scanned at 300 DPI for 25 cents a piece. I think Costco charges you more than that to scan your photos. So it's really up to you, and we're going to digitize your media at a comparable level of quality.
All right, thank you. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, just saw something that says Costco is closing down on Friday. 2 exclamation points. What? Is that true? That can't be true.
Yeah, so
Wow.
Costco doesn't actually digitize. They have a contract with a company called Yes Video. And so, people think, well, I'm keeping my stuff local because I'm taking my box of VHS cassettes to Costco. And that's not true. All they're doing is putting it into a box and sending it to a company that you don't get to talk to. You don't get to talk to someone like Jennifer on the phone or Jeff or John on a webinar to learn about what's happening with your digitizing. And so, yes, that service is going away, but they're referring people to other companies at this point in time.
Okay, thank you. We have some clarification here. Bob says Costco's photo service is closing. No, not the whole operation. Thank you. Yes, you scared me there, Gladys, with your 3 exclamation points after, yes, it's true. But Gladys is very helpfully telling all of us that after Friday, you will not be able to access your Costco account. All right. So Helene, is it Helena? Helene says, is your service available in Canada?
Helene, not yet. So once we've added a second digitizing facility to efficiently process the United States, we'll be adding the ability for Canada and Mexico digitizing and then working through affiliates globally. But at this point in time, Helene, I'm sorry to say that it's just the United States.
All right. And Costco is sending people to Shutterfly. Interesting. And still nobody can export the chat. I am so sorry. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I thought that was a feature of Zoom that you could just always do. So I'm not sure why it's not working. I'm happy that everybody wants to save the chat and preserve our time together here, but I'm not sure if we're still working on that.
We'll find a way to save the chat and email it to everyone that registered. I think that's something we can do later today if we can't figure it out now. Helene, yeah, it gives you more time to get your stuff ready until we start a pickup service through UPS in Canada.
Okay, and Melissa had the same suggestion of what you just said, Jeff, that we could save it and include it with, the recording. So thank you guys for your patience with this. I do apologize for the confusion about that.
And I would say, so if there's still questions, I'm happy to answer them. I see that our attendees have gone down some because we've gone over an hour, and that's fine. But if there's something that we haven't adequately answered, or you just want to discuss in more detail, please put it in the chat, because this is what we love doing. We love hearing great ideas from the people that are actually using this technology.
And Deb says, thanks. I may be ready to take the leap and join you. And we would love that. And Deb, if you ever have any questions, please do not hesitate to call our 800 number. And you would probably talk to me or you talk to Manny, and we would love to answer any questions to help make this easier for you. We'd love to have you join us. And I would like to thank everybody for coming to this webinar. This has been really fun. I look forward to next month. I hope you can come next month, or invite people to come, and we'll always be thinking of new things that we can share with you, but we love getting your feedback, and this is what we really enjoy. Oh, wait, one last question. How are you different from the services like Permanent and Forever?
Well, so I would ask Melissa, what do you experience at Permanent or Forever that you are looking for something better? Because I'm not super I don't track them, and so I'm not. Are you talking about on cost, on quality, on? I think there's probably several that's hard for me to answer, and unless Jennifer, you've got, oh, let's see, one payment for a lifetime to host your memories. Okay, so that is an interesting concept, and we're not there yet. We have rather than monthly or yearly. I would ask, can you have 50 gigabytes of your memories streaming video preserved unlimited access to 50 hours of streaming video on permanent, or what was the other company, Forever, for $19.99 a year. I do know I had looked at Forever, and if you pay hundreds of dollars, you can have your cloud storage for life, and we would like to offer something like that, but we haven't rolled that out yet. So we do not yet have a plan, and part of that reason is we want to maintain low costs. And I know that when I see hundreds of dollars to make a commitment to some company, are they going to be around in 10 years or 20 years? And so we wanted to make it very easy to preserve your memories on Heirloom. And at any point, you can just download them all and walk away, rather than say, man, I paid hundreds of dollars for this, and now I don't even like it. It is something that we would like to consider, a lifelong plan to include setting up next of kin to inherit your memories, but we just don't have enough data to make a wise decision that we think is very attractive and a price point to our consumers yet. I hope that answers your question.
Well, yeah, Gladys did. I did not see her question, which was similar. How are we better than other companies doing what you are doing? And I think you answered, very well, Jeff, that everybody is different and there are choices, and you can choose which company you're most comfortable with. We are one of many companies, and what we stand behind what we do. And you also added, what is to guarantee that our company will be around as well?
That is an excellent point. And I loved what was it? I can't even remember the name of the platform we used, MySpace, before
right.
Facebook. And I was really disappointed. I'm like, hey, I was using this, and then they went away, and I had a whole bunch of stuff on MySpace. And now we're seeing more and more people, leaving Facebook. And so they're like, wait, I invested more than a decade of my life into Facebook, and I for maybe a variety of reasons, they want to leave there, but they got all their memories locked up. And so we understand that, and we don't want to lock someone in just yet. We know that we are a technology company like Forever, and we're not asking people to make a lifetime decision with us yet. If there's something you see you don't like, you can download your memories and go somewhere else. But Gladys, really good question. And myself and the partners and everyone on our board have considered that. It may be something you see us rolling out within the next couple of years. But until we know that we can do this, and it's just something that customers really demand, and we know that we can roll that out at I think an attractive price point, we're holding off on doing that.
Okay. And Gladys, I'd like to thank you for your engagement. I really appreciate your being part of the chat and really asking these questions, and because we want this to be a conversation, because the customer is the most important to us. And so we really want to know what you're thinking, what you're looking for, what you're needing. And so I personally would just like to thank you for being such an active participant in our webinar. And Melissa has some same sentiments as Gladys and appreciates the questions, because she was going to ask all those too. And so I hope that we've answered all of that. And does anyone else, we still have quite a few participants, does anyone else have any questions? And again, do not hesitate to call if you think of something, because if you're like me, you're going to think of something 10 minutes after this ended and say, oh, I wish I had asked. So please call and we can answer your questions at the 1-800 number. Anything that or any comments, any contributions, anything, call and talk about anything. Call and tell me what your favorite band was if you didn't list it. I would have loved to hear more of what groups we like. I think that was fun.
Yeah, we ran out of bands from the time we were in high school. It was a great conversation we were having as we were just getting the webinar started. In the chat, and this time to everyone, I did put our 800 number. You can call us, or if it's after hours, text us a question, and as soon as we become available, we'll text you back. We love hearing from our customers, and so please engage with us as you've done so well on this webinar. I really thank you for being here.
Yep,
And then
and
another
thank you,
thing,
Dory.
Yeah.
Lori thanked us.
I'm going to put one other thing in the chat, and you are welcome to maybe click on it, save it, send it to someone that needs to know about Heirloom, or if you just didn't get ask enough questions here and you want to come to our next webinar, which will be a month from now, Wednesday, February 22nd, same time. You can sign up for that now, and or send that to someone that you think needs this service. We at the end of the day, we want to help them before those memories go bad. I've seen a lot of tapes that were falling apart, film reels. They aged out. They were kept in a hot attic. I've seen photos, loose photos come together in photo albums that were in a flood, and we can't peel them off the pages. Just so you know, we do digitize directly from a photo album, and not just the sleeves, that we can pull the photos out of the sleeves, but we can take the entire album, peel back the acetate covering, scan the entire page. Each photo on the page is cropped out as an individual JPEG. And so we have that level of service, but I got to tell you, some of the photo albums I've seen that survived the flood were not so pretty. They were water damaged, and it breaks my heart to see those. And so that's why we're in this business. We really believe no memory left behind, and we hope we can be a part of that for you.
Well, any more questions? We still have quite a few people on. And it's not too late to put your favorite band. We'd still love to hear it. But I hope that you enjoyed this. I had a really excellent time. Oh, well, one more question. Thank you, Melissa. Do you return the items in archival boxes?
Wow, Melissa, my apologies for not making that very clear. Yes, of course we do. And so that's included with the price of your Connect kit. And so when you buy a Connect kit from Heirloom, it includes everything. It's a shipping of that container to you. It's whatever you put in that Connect kit shipped back to us. And we've seen people stuff 4,000 loose photos in this 18 by 12 inch by 6 inch box. It includes the sorting, the counting, an itemized price quote back to you within 24 hours, including digital samples of your media on your Heirloom login. And so you receive an email from us, you can see sample photos, sample video, only if you like the quality, should you pay that digitizing quote. If you think you can do it better somewhere else or on your own, you could say, no, send it back to me. And that includes the return of the media to you, whether you chose to pay us to digitize it or not. So hopefully that answers your question. Of course, all the media does come back to you. Some other questions that we've had, a number of our customers, not just questions, but demands, was, hey, I don't want it all back. And I know this sounds strange, but we've received a lot of that. Now that it's digital, I don't want particularly those bulky VHS cassettes. I don't need them. I don't have a VCR that works anymore. So please certify, destroy those, recycle on them. Heirloom does that. We don't advertise it yet. But if you should authenticate that you want us to destroy that media after it's been digitized and you sign a digital signature, we will do that. But for the most part, you're getting it back unless you tell us you no longer want it and you would like us to recycle those items.
All right, thank you. That's good to know that you can get your memories back in a safe manner. Well, what else? Anyone have any more questions? And I'm looking forward to answering phones now, because if any of you from this meeting call, I'm gonna have to ask you what your favorite band is. So if you just have a question, or if you know something, I'm gonna say, well, wait a minute, weren't you on the webinar? And I don't think that you mentioned. So I was looking forward to hearing everybody. So I'll get you in private conversation.
If I could, how are memories destroyed? Good question. So we work with a company here called Shredder Bees, and they actually shred the printed photos. Your VHS cassettes are broken open. The Mylar is then melted and recycled, and so they're completely destroyed. That's a good question, Evelyn. I wanted to go back to I think it was Melissa that asked about getting the archived items back. And again, we don't just clutter, send you back your physical items in any cluttered format. They're all bagged and tagged and labeled. And so even if you didn't sort your photos, if they were just one mess, we're going to sort them by type and size and aspect. They're going to be in waterproof bags with zip ties, labels on them. Every piece of media as it travels through Heirloom has a code on it. That code will correspond to the name of the file on Heirloom. And so, yeah, it is archived when it comes back to you. And we really pride ourselves in returning it, turning that media back to you in a perhaps more organized fashion than we received it. Although, boy, we've seen some great organization from some of our customers. And we maintain that same level of organization. If you've put your photos into 20 different bags, each of those bags will be given a separate label number. We'll maintain the sort order of those photos as they're scanned, and each bag will be in a separate folder on Heirloom. And so we're going to return to you the same level of order if you've put your media in that fashion when you send it to us, or better when we return those items to you. So I hope that helps.
Yes, and
Glenn?
Melissa, no, we have to say Melissa has given us favorite bands, everything from Glenn Miller to Beatles to INXS to REM. Right on. Thank you. I think this is so fun. It's such a way to connect, because you're not the first person who has said the Beatles, and you're not the first person who has said REM. And so even just this small group, we're connecting. And I think that's an important thing, that sometimes we get so stuck in our children's memories and our family memories. What about yourself? This is such a good opportunity for you to say, hey, guess what? I liked REM, because in future, your children might, it doesn't show. It doesn't show in the photo. What were you listening to in your Walkman? And so you have an opportunity to don't forget about yourself. As a curator, we often forget about ourselves, but this is a wonderful opportunity for you to say, hey, it's not just me behind the camera. Every once in a while, there's a picture of me, and I like this, or this was me when I was in junior high school and, listening to my Sony Walkman, and this is whatever. But so I think that these little, I thought this exercise would be fun, just to show that we all have a history, and Heirloom is a great place to record your history, not just your kids, not just everyone else. So thank you for sharing. We have got a couple more questions. Gladys suggests donating the photos to a historical society, but I imagine that would be at the discretion of the owner of the photos.
Yeah, so Heirloom has a funny service. We really believe no memory left behind. And so my co-founder John, some while ago was finding old media at like yard sales or tag sales or auctions. For someone's storage unit, they didn't pay their bill, and so it like goes to an auction, or at flea markets. And so he was buying up all this stuff, or receiving the donations, and we've put it onto we digitize it all for free. We don't know who owns it, or not necessarily, or not yet. And so we have a domain called found.heirloom.cloud, which is everything that we found. But we're not putting customer data there, at least not yet. We don't have a publicly available wall yet. But those old memories that we find, not only do we put on our platform, because we found them, we want to connect them to families. Some of this we've been putting on our Reddit channel, and just last year we had someone respond to a slide that we found in San Francisco, and it was two couples going to the prom in 1966. And we spoke to this man. He said, "Oh my goodness, that's my brother. And here's his name, and this was his date. He's not married to her," and he was sharing those memories that we found at Heirloom, and we shared on our site and social media. So we really believe this. The point of actually taking customer memories and making that public, we don't yet have a method other than you downloading it and sharing it to a variety of social media platforms. We don't have a publicly available wall for your memories, at least not yet. But these are things that we consider as we build out our technology. And I'll tell you, Google and Apple's not really focused on this right now. And so it's these people here. And so all of you that stuck around for this webinar, I know we're dwindling down. There's only a dozen folks here, but I just want to say thank you for being here. And, God bless the person behind the lens all these years. And so, many of the times it was my dad. The times that but countless, honey, go grab another VHS cassette. We got to capture this memory. And so moms, dads, all of you here who've so faithfully done this and captured these memories, good job. But we want to help be a part of maintaining those for lives. So thank you for that. I'm
Excellent.
not sure if there's any more questions.
Jeff Gladys wants to know, does Heirloom work out of your home, or can you please post on Facebook what your facility for digitizing looks like, please? And Gladys, look behind Jeff, because Jeff is do you see behind him is his equipment for digitizing.
So Heirloom has a secure facility in Charleston, South Carolina. Our address is on our website. I'm there now. What we love about this facility is it's scalable.